So Bitcoin crashed to 85K this past Sunday night. And, and you've got people coming out and saying, oh, we could go to 70, we could go to 50. There's like a lot of blood in the streets right now. And I don't care who you are. I mean, I've been in Bitcoin for 12 years. I've been through 80% drawdowns. And so I'm a veteran of 4 cycles now. I've seen a ton of carnage, right? But I don't care who you are. I mean, these kind of drawdowns, especially when there's so much promise that we should have been at, 150, 200, 250 by now, that, it's just hard to metabolize. And especially if you're in your first 4 to 5 year cycle. I think I read something the other day that, 99% of you guys are in loss right now. And that is just not cool. And it's disappointing, it's stressful, and I get that, and I want to acknowledge that. But the good news is I like to take the time to kind of back out. We always say in the space, when in doubt, zoom out. And the good news is, and today what I want to talk about is that, yes, of course, 70K could be in play, lower could be in play. Why it doesn't really matter, and specifically what we're doing to hedge and prepare ourselves for the next market, both my wife and me, as well as our growing little community. By the way, if you're new, I'm Brad, and I'm on a mission to help millennials and Gen X more deeply integrate Bitcoin into their personal finances so they can reach financial independence within 10 years or less. So 70K could be in play, of course. Nobody knows. Everybody has a hot take. I'm sure you're seeing tons of stuff on X and YouTube and, these, really cortisol-inducing, thumbnails and titles. But there's one narrative that's really kind of helping me zoom out so that I don't succumb to fear and FUD out myself. And so I was watching Natalie Brunell's latest podcast interview with Jordi Visser, who is a macro analyst and has a lot of experience in the markets. And she was asking him questions about this recent viral post about this particular cycle being Bitcoin's IPO moment. So this is a narrative that he has sort of written extensively about that kind of helps explain why a lot of the OG Bitcoiners have been selling. And as a result of their selling, the price has dipped. We've seen a lot of sort of turbulence, particularly since October 10th. Basically, he's making the analogy in this piece that he wrote that it's kind of like the Amazon and Facebook ITOs. You had lots of early investors who got in early. They were very patient. They provided liquidity to the market. And now, since Bitcoin has really gotten its, sort of adult legs, there's lots of institutional, money in it. They're ready to maybe diversify into other assets while enjoying some of the fruits of their being right for so long. So there are lots of great things in this interview, and I'll link it in the video description below. I think it's well worth your time, especially if you're somebody that's like really, really struggling with the price action and some of those things like this. And I really appreciate his candor too, because I think he does give voice to a lot of the things that a lot of us who are, totally on board. I'm a hardcore Bitcoin maxi. I mean, obviously with what I'm doing right now, trying to integrate Fire in the Bitcoin movements, where a lot of us Bitcoiners are trying to soften, some of the more typical things that we talk about. But I'm still at my core, like I'm here for the revolution, basically. But he talks about his disappointment in the cycle and how he believed, like I did, that the price would be about 3x of what it is now. And I think any of us that are honest with ourselves, can agree with that. But as he has jumped into further analyzing, he talks about how it kind of makes more sense now because of things like AI and some of the other factors in the market that, this is not necessarily Bitcoin's year because of some of these outlying factors. But there was one comment that he made in the interview that really stuck out. She was asking him, and I think this is about the 40-minute mark or so, something around there, 39, 40-minute mark. She was asking him about the recent big whale sell-off and that, this subsequent 30% dip in the price. And he said, this is really, really, really cool, and I've never thought about it this way. He said, every time there's an OG whale that sells a position, that sells their Bitcoin, there are 1,000 tiny new buyers who are allocating that Bitcoin that they're selling as a starting position. And because of that being their starting position, at the price level that it is now, whether that's 80 or 90 or 100 or whatever, they're not ever going to sell at those levels. So that's how, he goes on to explain, that's kind of how we get into like a short squeeze situation where there just aren't any more sellers at this level. Once these whales, and obviously they're constantly these leverage contracts that are being liquidated as well. So I was really encouraged by that. Like I said, this has been a really confusing cycle for me as well, and I know that it has been for a lot of you guys. So again, zooming out, whether it hits 70K or 40K or 200K, it doesn't matter. When you take the time to kind of zoom back and look at the fundamentals like this. And by the way, there's another article that I'll link as well. I'm on his Substack newsletter. He's got some really, really great takes on things. But he wrote an article. The name of the article is "The Most Expensive Bias in Markets, Dismissing the Builder of the Future." And so in this article, he's just been consuming a lot of Elon Musk interviews. And so I consumed this article and sort of wrote a little bit of a commentary on it, or like a summation of it. So the overarching point of it is that despite Musk's proven record of being an innovator and a doer, the market almost completely disregards his predictions about technology and economic trends while they continue to both heed and amplify all the dinosaurs, all the economic dinosaurs like Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, and Jerome Powell. He argues that this is creating a hidden opportunity for investors who are able to see the overall structural impact of his outlining of things like, realities of the labor market in the future, and we're seeing that unpack right now. The importance of energy as all of these new technologies come on line. You've probably also been hearing about energy as money, where Elon Musk is talking about Bitcoin is money, and how money is energy, and Bitcoin is the best example of that. And then the underlying technology of the supply chain and how that's going to change in the future as well, with drones and more robotics, more automation, more AI. So those are some of the things that have helped me overall just kind of rise a little bit out of this funk that I've been in since October 10th, and I know a lot of you guys feel me on that. Another huge thing is our overall, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, huge thing that's kind of helping us metabolize a lot of this is our overall, what I would call Fireside strategy, where, obviously we have our main on-chain Bitcoin stack in self-custody. We're adding income producing ETFs and some of like Strategy's preferred stocks. So that covered call ETFs like IBIT. And then I'm researching right now, haven't bought any of it, but the preferred stock Stretch that gives that offers I think it's a 10.5% dividend right now. So we're in a posture where we want to obviously continue in our capital growth strategy, holding on-chain Bitcoin and ETFs like IBIT, but we also want to start producing Bitcoin income. And I've been sharing videos. October was our first month in BTCI. November was our second month, so I just released that video a couple of days ago, so you might want to check that out. And then also, I think one of the ancillary benefits is that it kind of causes us to not have to rely on the whole buy the dip roller coaster. In the past, and past bear markets and past roller coasters like this, it's just the only answer from a Bitcoiner was buy the dip, just buy more. It's going to go up eventually, And so I think a lot of us, especially that are sort of OGs, are really kind of ready to start harnessing some of the gains. It's kind of similar to Jordi Visser's IPO theory, but without selling our Bitcoin. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What have you heard of Jordi Visser's viral IPO commentary? Like, what do you think about his take? What do you think about this take? And if you're here for the journey to integrate Bitcoin more deeply into your overall personal finances and get to financial independence in 10 years or less, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. and share this video with somebody that you know that's kind of in a similar sort of mindset, trying to figure all of this out. Thanks so much to all of you guys that are new subscribers. It's great to have you. We're looking forward to having you in the community, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, since you made it this far in the video, I wanted to offer 2 resources that will help you integrate Bitcoin more deeply into your personal finances. Number 1, Gemini's Orange Bitcoin MasterCard. You can earn up to 4% Bitcoin on everyday purchases like gas, dining, groceries, retail purchases. There's no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees, and no exchange fees on any of your rewards. Plus, if you sign up today using my link in the video description below, you get $200 in Bitcoin when you spend $3,000 in your first 90 days. And if you're watching this before December 8th, Gemini is currently offering 5% cash back in Bitcoin for everything on every purchase up to $2,500. The link is in the description and the comments below. Number 2, I'm also offering one-to-one calls to answer questions and to help you integrate Bitcoin into your personal finances more deeply, including traditional FIRE and Bitcoin planning, as well as Bitcoin self-custody. Link is in the video description below for that.